call Allah Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Makakadash, double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone of the well. I am not a member, however, I've entered into their labors. Peace and mercy to the sincere brothers and sisters doing this wherever you are, whatever your lot may be. And this is just a dream that I had that I want to kind of go over. So I will lay down the groundwork here so you can kind of have a visual. And generally speaking, whenever I have dreams outside of, seeing chariots or some sort of, Babylon is fallen type dreams, of destruction. Every time I have dreams of this nature, they're always at my childhood home. And what I noticed, I started to look into why people have dreams at their childhood homes. And it kind of represents like a place of, where the last place you ever felt safe. Or sometimes it could be the place where, you experience some trauma, and both of those are true. And so I think that, that I guess everything kind of boils together with that. But anyway, so the childhood home is like this. There was a screen door, or like a storm door, and it is two parts. The bottom part was like a hard plastic. It's black. You can't see through. You can't see under it. And then the other part is a piece of a square where you can lift and let some air in, but there's a screen on it, right? And then there's the actual front door. Now, the front door opens inward, so you can't access the interior of the garage with the front door being open. You have to close it, okay? And the exterior garage door, if you're standing and facing the house, there's the porch, and then to the right is the exterior garage door. So immediately you can walk in the garage and then walk into the house after you walked into the garage, right? Now, watching, say you're standing in the front door, you're standing in the walkway, straight back, maybe it's about 6 feet, no, that's too short, maybe it's about 15 feet, on the left will be the living room, and then there's a wall, and then in that wall it separates the bathroom and the back bedrooms. So none of those really matter, that's just a visual. So what happened here, and why I have a picture of an owl, is I was a child, but it was in a childlike state. But it was a brand new iPhone that I had, right? With like a really good picture, and there were 3 birds, vibrant, radiant blue, and one of them sat in the middle, and it was an owl that looked just like this, just like a barn owl, except where you see these copper colors. It was a radiant, glowing blue. And the other 2 birds, and I enjoy learning about birds. I'm a bit of a self-proclaimed or self-taught ornithologist. The other 2, I can't remember if they were birds of prey or not, but the way that they flapped their wings and hovered was almost like a bird of prey could do. Because they kind of hover over where they have, and usually birds of prey have sharp beaks and talons. And I guess my only other favorite, because my 3 favorite birds, owls being number 1. Second is, raven is kind of an honorary bird of prey. They're more scavengers and everything. So, and then the hawk. I'm sorry, the falcon. The falcon. Falcon is my 3rd favorite bird of prey. But anyway. The other 2 kind of hovered next to it, and they also had a barreled white chest, but radiant, glowing blue. And I want to see if maybe I can get an example of what I mean here. Glowing blue orb. There you go. Let's see if we can. And then, so it looked like this, something like this. So instead of, think of a glowing blue just like this around the owl and on the outer portions along the back and the wings of the 2 birds that hovered next to it, one on each side. And they knew, and I could talk to them telepathically. It was a feeling. In every animal, because there's one more animal in here, I could also telepathically understand. It wasn't words, it was a feeling. The feeling, their intent seeped into me, into my stomach, into my gut. And my gut went to from my gut to my brain, and my brain translated these words in a way that I can understand through thoughts and, normal human thoughts and speech. And they were drawn to me, and I was drawn to them, and it was something that I was moved to tears. It was so beautiful. I felt safe. I felt like I understood. It felt as if there was something that I could draw near to, I can hold on to. And in the background, as I took the picture, I saw a tiger. It was a tiger. They were sitting on a huge tree, and there was one long, thick branch that stuck out. And then maybe a couple meters behind them was a tiger lurking, and he was just kind of sitting on a branch with one paw hanging out, just chilling. And I could also sense his intent. It was a murderous intent. It's an evil intent. So the blue light that came into my gut was from the birds, and then there was a awful orange red mixed with like a almost like a grapefruit color. It was different. It looked like as if somebody tried to draw fire with different colors, like um, an artistic representation of fire. So it was a red. It was different shades of red. It was like grapefruit colors. It was orange, and it flowed into my gut. And I felt like the three birds didn't see it, which in hindsight they probably did. And as soon as I felt that terror, I had this little, you know how kids have those little fake guns. It's the little airsoft, and then it's a holster. So I unholstered my airsoft, and I was like, if I don't put, any little ammo in it, I can just charge it, charge it, charge it. And the more I charge it, the louder the air pop will be, and the birds will fly away. So as soon as I did that, I shot into the air, and all three birds flew away. And then that's what pissed the tiger off. And when I did that, the tiger knew what I was doing, and he jumped out of that tree and he charged. And he was far enough away that I could run into my house, into the garage, the exterior garage, and then I ran into, or I opened and walked into the house from the interior garage door. I secured that door, but I couldn't get the front door in time, so I kind of peeked over and I stayed low into that the hard plastic part um, of the screen door or the storm door. Now behind me, as I'm laying down and I'm like, I just need to sneak over and get the door closed, is my little brother and my mom. And my mom, all I can see when I look back is the back of her head. And she never looked, it was like she was just an NPC. She was not a sentient being. She just was like a statue that was there. But my brother didn't take anything. He didn't take it seriously. I'm like, Ty, brother, you gotta, we'll call him Todd. We'll just call him. We'll give him a name. I was like, Todd, you gotta close the front door. And he's like, what's your problem? I'm like, why are you tripping? Like, oh, it's just a tiger. Like, he can't get in the house. I'm like, you need to close the front door. And immediately, as I kind of peek my head up, I can see the tiger's chilling there on the porch, very patiently waiting, to devour, because since he couldn't get to make a meal out of the bird, he was gonna make a meal out of me. And immediately, again, the murderous intent flowed through me, and it froze me. It went from my gut into my belly button, up into my heart. It expanded, it made my heart beat faster, and then it went into my brain. Was I'm gonna get you, and it translated that fear. But everything in me, I couldn't move. I was frozen. So finally, the tiger walks up to the door and he peers over and sees me, and I'm yelling at my brother because at this point I can't move. Close the fucking door. Now in real life, you ain't stopping no tiger from coming in no regularly built American household door, right? But anyway, the house symbolizes, and we'll get scriptures on this. Um, so finally, he gets up to close the door, and the tiger gets his head through, and he kicks him, and then he pushes the tiger's head out, but the tiger nicks his finger. And then it dawns on him, oh shit, it's a real tiger. And then his panic sets in, and he finally was able to close and secure the door. And that's when I woke up. And the immediately thing I thought about it and what flowed into me was the birds. The owl, of course, is an owl that can see in the dark. And darkness is a representation of no understanding in the scriptures, right? You don't have any, you don't know anything. You are dead while you live. And then owls have an eye salve around them that allows them to see in the dark. Okay, and blue represents, well, we'll get it. I typed in here, and I noticed that the Bible doesn't say much about owls, but this is a generally understood understanding of what they mean. So we'll scroll through this. We'll get the scriptures as we need, but I want to start with strong tower, and it'll all make sense here pretty soon. The name of the Lord is a strong tower, and the childhood home is somewhere where the last place I've ever felt safe. And there is safety in the Lord. There is safety in the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right, and that was the representation of my home, the last place that I ever felt safe, that I can be me, that you can be genuine, you can be vulnerable. And in this truth and in your prayers about yourself, you can truly be vulnerable. And out here in the world, you can't. You have to put on a mask over and over. You have to pretend to give a shit about who won what football game and give a shit about just dumb stuff. And it's exhausting. All right, it's almost like you don't belong on this planet. Okay, but yeah, so we'll read this here. All right, this is Proverbs 18:10. The name of Yahweh is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. All right, and we'll read Psalm 61:3. We'll just actually go to this scripture. Well, I mean, we'll go to this chapter here. It's fairly short, right? Confidence in Yahweh's protection. And again, that is your childhood home, the last place you feel safe. And I have a new place that I can actually feel safe and vulnerable, through the spirit. Your physical body is in this pitiable existence, but your spirit understands where your home is, where safety truly lies. Right? So this is the Psalm of David. Hear my cry, O power, attend unto my prayer. From the end of the earth will I cry unto thee. When my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is higher than I. We're going to get that rock. We're going to get that definition after we finish. For thou hast been a shelter for me in the strong tower from the enemy. I will abide in thy tabernacle forever. I will trust in the covert of thy wings. Selah. Yeah, man, with the wings there. For thou, O power, hast heard my vows that hast given me the heritage of those that fear thy name. Thou wilt prolong the king's life, and his years as many generations. All right, he shall abide before power forever. O prepare mercy and truth, which may preserve him. So will I sing praise unto the name forever, that I may daily perform my vows. Right, so we read that the name of the Lord is a strong tower, and now we'll go into our little description here, what we picked up. Right, so I said, according to the Bible, what does the color blue symbolize? Okay, we can read through this here. We'll skip through it, and we're not going to read this perversion. We're not going to say that at all. We're not. It's bullshit, frankly put. All right, according to the color blue, according to the Bible, the color blue carries rich symbolic meaning, primarily associates with the heavenly realm, Yahweh's divine presence, holiness, and his commandments. And that is something which you can all sum up into is the truth, this knowledge and this understanding that you try to pass, or that you try to preserve, that you try to capture and show others. And that is why I wanted the picture of those birds, and that symbolized me trying to capture it to show people that didn't understand, that didn't appreciate it. And then the tiger was, that devil that came to kill, steal, and destroy. Now, I as a man, I believe it was a tiger instead of a lion, because Lion of Judah. You can't let this low class scumbag be represented as a powerful lion. But also, tigers are beautiful too in their own right. Tigers are awesome animals. But for the instance of this dream, because I love animals, and I like big cats. I love tigers, and I love lions as well. I love big cats, especially the leopards and panthers and all that. But anyway, I get sidetracked. For the sake of the dream, it had to be a tiger, not a lion, and that tiger was E, or anybody, especially E, who seeks to steal, kill, and destroy. Right, roaming him to and fro. So we'll get that. Damn it. Steal, kill. And I'm sure there's a couple of verses that we can get, right? John 10:10. And bear with me, I'm trying to speed up, but I don't want to, cut anything short. I want to make sure I cover everything that I say. All right, so this is John 10:10. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. And these are Yahweh words. Okay. Um, Roaming to and fro. That's Job. Maybe it's the 3rd chapter. Okay, Satan allowed to test Job. It's 1. All right. And there was a day when his sons and his daughters were wait. Nope, go back. Yeah, even farther up. Okay. Now there was a day, this is Job 1 and 6. Now there was a day when the sons of power came to present themselves before Yahweh, and Satan also came among them. Now you see, complete order. There is on the right hand, which is Yahweh Shai, and the physical representation are the Israelites. And on the left hand is Satan, and the physical representation are the Edomites, right? And Satan came also among them, and Yahweh said unto Satan, Whence thou comest? Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered Yahweh and said, From going to and fro in the earth, from walking up and down it. And Yahweh said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job? So he was looking. Right? He looked, who can I put whose day can I mess up, basically, right? And who can I put these improper, impure thoughts and force the hand of people to do something to the, to cause some havoc, cause some chaos. And that's what these E's do here on the earth today, given the power to take peace from the earth. Right? That is all that they do: steal, kill, destroy. They don't create. They simply steal it, repackage it, and ruin it. They pervert it. Everything that they touch becomes something that is perverted, right? Okay, so, and then we'll get these, what are we saying? Okay, so we'll get Exodus 24 and 10, right, where it says Moses and the elders of Israel describe God's pavement under his feet, described like a pavement of sapphire stone, and clear as the sky itself, or like very heaven for clearness. Okay, sapphire, deep blue gem. We'll go. Actually, what I forgot to get was that rock that I mentioned in Psalms. Let's get that real quick. Let's double back, and then we'll get what we just read right here in Grok. All right. Cliff rock walls. Okay, rock. So it's simply a rock, and it's just meant to, understand metaphorically. There is no bind, besiege, confine, confined, secured, shut up. Yeah, so clothed, being cool, being protected. Okay, so we got that. And what did I say we needed here? Was Exodus 24 and 10. So let's go to that. All right, people affirm their covenant. This is also when Moses made the 12 pillars according to each tribe, and that is when he read and read the covenant and sprinkled the blood, and they said, all that the Lord would have said, then we will do. This is the initial covenant here. All right, so he went up Moses and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Yasharallah, and they saw the power of Israel, and there was under his feet as it were a paved work of sapphire stone, and as it were the body of heaven in his clearness. All right, let's look at it, because sapphire can be many things, I believe. Sapphire blue. Yes, and that was also that radiant glowing blue that came off of the 3 birds. One in the middle being the owl, and there were 2 flanked on the right and on the left that hovered and finally came and sat next to the owl when I snapped the picture. Okay, deep blue, vivid, rich shade of blue. All right, named after its precious gemstone, symbolizing elegance, depth, royalty, tranquility, often mixed between azure, or I guess azure, and royal blue with hints of violet. Okay, and now what else we get in Ezekiel 1 and 26, also seeing the Yahweh's throne, as appearance of sapphire stone, reinforcing blue as a color of divine majesty and authority. Blue was also extensively used in sacred contexts in the Old Testament. Okay, so we'll get Exodus 26 at the top, and I believe that's the building of the temple. Come on now, damn it. Alright, curtains of linen. Moreover, thou shalt make a tabernacle with 10 curtains of fine twined linen, and blue and purple and scarlet, with the cherubims of cunning work shalt thou make them. Okay, so you see that is the curtains of goat hair. Alright, so within the tabernacle you have blue. Okay, blue was also extensively used as sacred context. We read that, Numbers 4 and 5. The high priest's garments, including the robe of the ephod, were made entirely of blue. Okay, and then you have, we'll get that too. So we'll go 28, and then we'll get Numbers 4 and 5. And after that, we'll just continue on to read what we have, what I pulled up here. What did I say? 28 and what? 28 and 31. Okay, here we go. Exodus 28:31. And thou shalt make the robe of the ephod all of blue, and there shall be an hole at the top of it in the midst of it, and have a binding and woven work round about the whole of it, as it were the whole of a habergeon, that it be not rent. Let's get that. What dost thou mean? Of course. Oh, okay. So like the what goes around the waist to secure the robe. All right. 31. Okay. That it be not red, beneath upon it the hem of thou shalt make pomegranates of blue, and of purple, and of scarlet. And you see blue, purple, and scarlet again, just as in the tabernacle, with the curtains. Salakia, give me a second. All right. Okay, yeah, so we got that as well. All right, so from here on out, we'll just kind of scroll through here, okay? One of the most practical and ongoing symbols found in Numbers 15 and 38, where Yahweh commands the Israelites to put a ribbon cord, all right, that border of blue on the fringes of their garment throughout their generations. And the blue thread served as a constant visual reminder that you may look upon it, right? Those fringes for you to not sin, okay? So in essence, the blue invokes heaven or divine transcendence, power, or Yahweh's holiness and glory, and obedience and remembrance of God's law. You can all sum this up into what the understanding of the truth is. All of these things must be understanding his divinity, the names, having the fear of the names, right? Truly what true holiness is, true separation, okay? Nothing that the Christian church can capture. Christianity uses the Bible to preach a deity, a patron deity of Babylon called Jesus, right? That is, they don't actually go and use the truth of the Bible in its essence. That is for those who were gifted with understanding, who are bloodline Israelites, and they don't have to look like so-called black people. All right, so I also asked, what do owls represent? All right, you can refer to secular, I meant to put history, because the Bible doesn't say much about owls, which it doesn't really say much. Okay, so in Western and Greek mythology, wisdom and knowledge, and this is just a general understanding about it because of that eye salve, right? It was sacred to Athena, blah 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 blah. We don't give a shit about you. Insight, so it's about insight, foresight, and intellectual clarity. Its big eyes represent the ability to see truth in darkness, right? The imagery spread, and we don't care about them. All right, you can deep dive in that rabbit hole. I just needed it for that specific reason. Okay, and then in our Northern Kingdom culture, views of owls, depending on the tribe, many of them seen as powerful spirit animals connected to the night and the unseen world, a message from ancestors or spirit realm. They can symbolize intuition, foresight, change, or protection. But several traditions, okay, are linked to death and bad omens, right? But that ain't always the case. going through it. Everything is very nuanced. Okay, mystery and unknown. Right, the silent flight. Right, they don't make any noise as they fly through the night. Okay, evokes hidden truth. And what does the scriptures tell you about the mystery of the kingdom? Oh, not Mystery Babylon. And which is why Yahushua spoke in parables, because it wasn't for everybody to understand. So Matthew 13 and 11. Yeah. Matthew 13 and 11. Okay. An explanation. And unto the disciples came unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? And he answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. For whosoever hath him shall be given. For whosoever hath, to him shall it be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever hath not, from him shall it be taken away, even that he hath. Right? Therefore speak I unto them in parables, because they seeing see it not, and hearing hear it not, neither do they understand. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which saith, by hearing ye shall hear and shall not understand, and seeing ye shall see and shall not perceive. Right? So there is that darkness, the people that are in gross darkness and don't understand, and the separation between those that do. Right? What did I read? Oh yeah, hidden truth and intuition. Okay. Also in some transitions of death, Mesoamerica or ancient China, they are omens of death or misfortune due to their eerie calls, right? And that could also be just a a uh, a different understanding and culture, right? So the gospel and the good news is good news to the Israelites, but is an omen to the others, right? So 144 called like Yahweh Shem Shai. But that there you go, that understanding. Depending on who the message benefits, it could be an omen to one party and glory and a new song and salvation to another, right? So I think we've covered what we need to cover. That was the dream. And as always, I truly pray. That is my utmost and prayer that is at the forefront when I do these things, that whoever happens to hear this, that you are truly edified and you are, moved to continue to grow in Yahweh Shem Yahushua, continue to plant your feet and stand 10 toes down and understand what you are a part of, and understand that it is a gift, and it is a gift that you should admit it is meant to grow. Right? You cultivate it and you cherish it and you hold it near and dear to your heart, and you treat it as a delicate flower, right? You wouldn't give it any food, or you wouldn't just shorten your attention to it when in its early stages of growth, right? That seed needs to germinate, and it needs to get strong. It needs to grow strong vines, and it needs to grow a strong stem to stand, right? So bear all of that in mind. But again, I pray that you're edified. On to the next. Shalom.